What's up, guys? I'm gonna make a little video today about just how I use the 30-minute opening range to kind of keep me on the right side of the market, or at least try to help keep me on the right side of the market. Um, there's really several reasons why I look at it. Um, one of them being that during that time, the first 30 minutes of the New York market open, during that time, that's like obviously the highest volume traded. Um, so the high and the low of that is where a lot of external orders are sitting. Not only that, but it also helps me personally break the market down into chunks. When I originally learned how to trade, I was taught basic price action, and when I brought that over to futures and I wanted to, day trade actively, day trade, I always kind of felt lost with the price action of like, where do I start? How do I enter a trade? Where do I even look to enter a trade? All those things. So the 30-minute orb gives me a way to look at the market in chunks. And I'm going to go through the replay mode of today. Today, exactly today's the date is April 27th. Today, how I used the 30-minute orb to capture a 28 point trade. And because I know a lot of you guys have been getting chopped up and market has been very difficult, which it has been very difficult lately. So we'll kind of go through it a little bit and I'll kind of break down exactly what I'm thinking and why I think that. So this is market open. Um, Really early on when the market opens, I really don't look to trade for the first 15 minutes at least. Now today I entered a little sooner, um, just because I liked the setup. But I will say that if I do enter early on into the market open, like the first 15 to 30 minutes, I will definitely enter with smaller size. Um, yeah, so this is market open. So we kind of enter in price, pushes up here. We push up. Now this right here, these yellow lines, these are going to be um, this is what is going to be the 30-minute opening range high and the 30-minute opening range low once it's set. Now, these are 5-minute candles, so this has been 15 minutes into the market open, so this hasn't set yet. Technically has not set, but this is what it's going to end up working out as. So, um, price pushback. Now, I track trade lines. That's what the blue line is. It's a 9 EMA. Green line is the 21 SMA. Yellow line is the VWAP. Okay, so as we pushed in right here, I saw pre-market we had a lot of support right here. So we came down, market open, immediately put this buying wick right here, put in this buying wick. So then when I saw this candle push down and put in another buying wick, and once it reclaimed this low, that's when I entered long, just looking for a rotation back up into range. Now I scalp personally, so if I can get 10 points on MES, 25 to 50 points on MNQ, I'm happy. So I got in the long here and I ended up riding it up to here. Riding it up to here. And the reason why I exited here is because our 30-minute opening range hasn't been put in yet. It was put in right here. So I was taking profit before high a day. So then we will push up here. Obviously, I scaled out fully here. So next, I was just waiting to kind of see if we could form some kind of base or something that might convince me that we were going to keep continuing higher. Um, as you can see, price kept pulling back, and okay, so I entered right here. I entered right here on this drop. I was looking for, once again, these lows right here. These lows were support. And then we got support again right here. So I was looking for this to hold as support again. So I entered long. Unfortunately, I ended up getting stopped out on this position right here. So I got stopped. I entered, and then I thought, okay, if we break these lows right here, that's when my idea will be invalidated. And so this is something that I am trying to get better at, and that's really watching price action when I'm in a trade and not sticking to my bias, getting so attached to my bias that I don't see the other side of it. Because right here on this wick right there, that wick right there, I saw us push up. And then when we get this nasty rejection, that should be a sign to me that buyers are not in control, most likely not going to reclaim this trade line. And so I probably could have cut the trade almost at about break even, but I didn't, and I ended up cutting at these lows. But it was a managed loss, so not that big of a deal. But I stayed after I got stopped out here. I stayed patient, didn't really get freaked out like I normally do, and try and double my size and get it back right away. I just wanted to stay calm. I wanted to see what was going to happen at these lows. And as you'll see, we come down here, boom. Okay, don't look at this candle yet. So we come down here, and what do you know? We put in another buying wick at these lows. So then that got my attention. Okay, we might have a long here. And once again, the trade that I'm about to show you played out very well. But when I enter it, I am by no means looking for this big of a trade. I'm just looking for a rotation, maybe halfway or back up into range. Full rotation would be very nice. So you see this buying wick, and then next candle comes and immediately engulf it. So that's my cue. The buyers have stepped in. We could not hang below these lows. Fake breakdown. There's really nothing stronger than a failed bearish move. So sellers tried to break lows, couldn't. Buyers immediately reclaimed it, and now we're off to the races. And so how I got in this trade was after this wick and I start to see our push up, boom, I'm getting in, putting my stop below these lows. And then when I scale, how I'm scaling out of my trade is I take one off into our trade line. As you can see right here, we're right into our 9 EMA. So that's where my first one comes off. Next one comes off into our 21 SMA, also lining up with VWAP. That's where my second one came off. I was in 4. Second one came off here. Third one, I'm just looking for up here near previous day close if we can get an extension up into our ORB high. That's where I would like to take my third one off. And I'll also show you exactly how I trail my stops. I trail them behind the EMAs. So I have 2 off at this point. Right here, the 9 EMA is coming up, and I want to see it act as support. So once we reclaim this EMA, I want to see it now act as support, and that's how I know buyers are still in control and have a chance to keep pushing us up higher. So boom, looks good, looks good. That was a very good candle. I was thinking about at this point in time, thinking about possibly taking another one off as a safety scale because we didn't push through VWAP. But once I saw this nice buying wick on the reclaim of the 21 SMA, that's when I was more confident that we were going to get our push up through the range. Boom, there's our push. This is where the next one came off. And then the runner, I wanted to see if we could maybe reclaim breaking base over this 30-minute orb high and previous day high, and then push up to pre-market high, which is all-time highs on the futures chart. So I started trailing this now behind our 21 SMA. So my trail was right here. Here, I'll put a line in for it. Let me bolden this up a little bit, and then here, stop loss. We'll put stop loss there. Okay, like I said, I started trailing it behind our 21 SMA. So at this point, I had 3 off in profit, and I was now trailing my 4th runner in profit. Price came back, held our intraday EMA. Really, this 9 should hold, but what I want to see for continuation on a trend type days, I want to see this 21, this green 21 SMA. I want to see that hold on any pullbacks, and you'll see that it does come into play here. So we're pushing up, couldn't quite push out and break and base over our 30-minute orb high. So the stop is now trailing down to here. This right here is where I would want to see this 21 SMA hold as support, because oftentimes after we get a nice push like this, we will get a nice bounce off of our 21 SMA test. Trying to push over our 30-minute orb high, and what do you know? Okay, couldn't do it. Here's our wick off of our 21 SMA. That's what I wanted to see hold. Stop was still being trailed up here. And boom, we wick off of it and get a nice push up here. So that now gives me confidence that previous day close, lining up with our 21 SMA, is going to hold, and we are going to get continuation up through at least previous day high and hopefully go test pre-market high, which we end up doing. So now trade line catches up, and boom, we get our nice push up through previous day high up into pre-market high. And at this point, I'm just trailing my stop now. I trailed it a little tighter at this point. Once I see we get this nice big extension push through previous day high, through our 30-minute orb high. So at this point, I start trailing it right below our 9 EMA, which is down here. I want this to be able to catch up. If price does pull back, catch up and shoot it up higher. Boom. Trade line caught up as price consolidated. And trail the stop. Boom, it's holding. Now we're trailing our stop. And at this point, I'm just looking for a push through pre-market high, which is our all-time high at that point, hoping that it's going to pop some stops up here. What do you know? Our 21 holds once again. I remember that exactly. It was literally like a few ticks away from stopping me out. But why I had it here is because I saw that this base right here had been put in. So I was like, if we ended up breaking below this base, it's probably going to keep coming back along with our 21 SMA there. That was my thought process. Once again, there's our stops trailed. Boom. And we're looking through for our push up through all-time high. There, we got it right there, and I was out. I literally had my orders sitting out here at 72.09, and that's how I was out. And we ended up pretty much, that's how we finished the day. So, yeah, and I'll be completely honest, like, this trade right here, for me personally, was maybe like, because if you know how I trade, for me to stay in a trade this long, I mean, that's pretty good. So by no means do I pull these kinds of trades out every day. I look for this initial move back up into VWAP. It just so happened that, you know, the trailing stop, it didn't come back and take me out ever, which, I mean, as you could see, like up in here, it got a little sketchy, but yeah, other than that, this is why I like the 30-minute orb so much, just because it lets me break the market down into chunks and just helps me kind of take the day step by step. And it helps me stay aligned with my bias each and every day, because I know that if we break in base below orb low, that's a trend day lower. If we break in base above orb high, that's a trend day higher. And then if we trade in between, that's a range day. And so by knowing those things, that kind of helps me know how I'm going to be taking my profits. Is it going to be aggressive? Is it going to be, am I going to give it a little more room to run, based on price's reaction to the orb? So yeah, I mean, obviously don't just trust what I'm saying. Go back and back test it. Just mark out your opening range highs and lows and watch price and see how it reacts. I really think that it's something that everyone can implement into their trading just because it's an area of high volume and an area that's paid attention by a lot of other traders. So that's why we get our reactions off of the levels so frequently like we do. Um, but yeah, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you want to go ahead and give me a like and a subscribe, hit those buttons below. I trade live daily, New York Open. So if you want to stop by and watch me try and execute the 30-minute orb, I would love to have you. Appreciate you guys stopping by. See you in the next one. Peace.